I've got uni tomorrow. What do I take? What do I do? And he stops doing what he's doing, and he looks at me, and he says, go ask your mother. So I go inside, right, and I don't know why I wanted to ask my mum. My mum ironed for a living, like she was a seamstress, right? That's what she did for a living. And so I go inside and I say, Mum, right, she goes, Jimmy, good boy. I said, Mum, she goes, when are you going to get married? And I saw her like 2 weeks ago. I saw her last weekend actually, and I said, hi, Mum, she goes, Jimmy, when are you going to get married? Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so I go over there and I say, Mum, I've got uni tomorrow, what do I take? You know, and she was inside and she was like making land, like she was baking land, because when you're Greek, that's what you do. Like Greek women love to just bake big chunks of land, right? Like always, there's land in the house, right? And anyways, you want to know, and then you have friends who say, I'm vegetarian, and Mum says, what doesn't matter, it's land. You know? It's magical, you go. So I go, Mum, and she's like, yes, Jimmy. And I said, Mum, I've got uni tomorrow. What do I take? And she stops, and she looks at me and she goes, take your passport. My passport? And she's like, yes, that way people will know who you are. I'm like, oh, choice, right? So I go looking for my passport, and as I'm about to walk out, she goes, and Jimmy. I'm like, yeah? And she goes, I'll pack you some land. So the first day of uni comes, and I go, I get my backpack. I was smart enough to have my backpack. I put a couple of books in the back. I had my passport in my top pocket, and my mum gave me some land. Now, you guys are going to think I'm joking here, but she packed me a Tupperware dish full of land, and it was about this big. I had this much land. Like I walk into uni like this. So I look at my first class, and it says CLB5, and my first class is supposed to be mathematics, right? And so I walk into my first class, it was a big class, it was a big lecture room, you know, we had like a little stage in front, and we went up like that. And I think, okay, I just started to uni, so I wanted to do so much better. So I thought, that's it, I'm going to be an awesome student, right? So I walk in, and there's people everywhere, there's about 100, 150 people in the room. I walk in, and I go, I'm going to sit right at the front, right? So I'm sitting roughly where you guys are sitting there, right? And so I get out the desk is ready to sit, I put my passport there, I get my pen and paper out, I have my land in front of me, and I'm ready to roll, right? And then two very strange things happen, right? And you guys that go to this school will get this. The first thing that happens is a girl comes and sits next to me. Now, I'm Greek, the only girls when you were cousins. And they're not real girls, right? They're cousins, right? So she comes in and she sits next to me and she looks at me and I smile. And she says, hi, my name's Michelle. I say, hi, my name's James. What's your plan? And she's like, I'll make you later. And I'm like, when? Anyway, she stayed anyway. And then the second thing that happens is this lecturer walks on, right? And this guy is like, he's a professor of philosophy. And I'm like, oh my God. It's a professor, right? So I'm looking at him. And he says, he walks in, he looks around, he says, oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another year at the university. I just want to make sure everyone's in the right class, everyone's here to study Asian Cinema 1. And I'm a wash. Right? We watch TV, we don't study it. So I say, I think it's a joke. So I go, no one else is laughing. And so this guy looks at me and he says, oh, if you're in the wrong class, now's a really good time to go. And I'm thinking, okay, the class is packed, 150 people. I have to get out and walk out and embarrass myself. And lose the only girl I've ever met in my life. And do I sit there and just pretend I know what's going on? So, any guesses what I did? I stayed. So I sat there for the whole hour, pretending to take notes, listening, hoping that I would do well, hoping that no one would ask me a question, sweating. And anyway, I survived that first class. But in many ways, to be honest with you, that kind of summarised my time at uni. My first degree when I studied, I was a terrible student. In my first year, and everybody looks at me now and they see that I'm a professor and that I've written, I think I've got 7 books and over 100 articles. Everyone always says to me, oh, uni was easy for you. You know, in my first year, I failed 5 subjects and passed 3, right? In fact, at the end of the first year, I got a phone call from the dean of the school, the dean of Humanities. And he called me up and he invited me to come and see him. It wasn't him, he was his secretary. But he called me up and he invited me to see me. I thought, oh my God, that's so nice. And the dean wants to see me. It's such a nice guy, right? So I walk into his office. You know, like I said, I failed 5 subjects and passed 3. I walk into his office and I sit down. And I look and he goes, oh, hello, Master James. Hello, Dean. How you going? He goes, good. He goes, and how are you finding university? And I'm like, oh my God, it's really hard. Like I've passed only 3 subjects and I've failed 5. And I'm really struggling. I don't know what's going on. And he says, yes, I have your results right here in front of me. And then he says to me, so tell me, James, what's your father do? And I say, oh, my dad's a builder. He goes, do you think maybe you're better suited to that career? And then he says, given your record, I don't think you're made for university. You don't quite have it. So that was a day that I walked out and I was this close to quitting uni. But I didn't. I stuck in there and I passed and I got through it. I then worked, I got a job in finance. I worked in banking and finance for about 8 years. And then one day I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, and I actually resigned from there. I took a year off to travel, and I ended up working for human rights organisations for about 5 years. I then did my PhD, and I became an academic. I worked at Sydney Uni, New South, UTS, and in the last 7 years I've been at Western Sydney University. But I just want to tell you about an event that happened to me about 3 years ago. It was at the end of 2012. So exactly at the end of 2012, and I had been nominated for an award, and the award was the Prime Minister's University Teacher of the Year Award. It's a big award. It's like, if you can imagine, it's like the Academy Awards for geeks, right? It's like the best teacher in the university across Australia. And I'd been nominated for this award, and the award was held at Parliament House, and I turned up to this award. And I sat in this room with about 500 people, and they announced the winners of different awards. And then right at the end of the day, right at the end of the night, they went to announce the winner of the Prime Minister's University Teacher of the Year. And I was sitting on one of the tables, you know, it was very formal, you know, it was black tie, there was red carpet, there was paparazzi, it was very cool, you know, lots of selfies, that kind of thing. The Prime Minister was there. And then they said, now we're going to announce the winner of the Prime Minister's University Teacher of the Year. And I sat there, and then they started talking about this person. And the description they used was kind of bizarre. They said, this person has had a very long journey, he's only recently started academia. And they started describing all these things that this person had done. And I was sitting next to my girlfriend, and I was sitting next to her, and we're sitting there together, and I'm listening to them talking about this person. And I'm like, this person, I look over at Alex, and I say to her, this person sounds cool. And she looks at me and she says, he's better than you. And I'm like, I know, right? And she goes, don't worry, you might win it next year. And I'm like, you can only be nominated once, and then you're done. And she goes, suck it up. So I'm sitting there and I'm a bit depressed because I really wanted to win. Anyway, and then I open up the envelope, it's like the Academy Awards, I open up the envelope and they say, and the Prime Minister's University Teacher of the Year is James Arvanitakis.